Hi everyone, it's Molly. I have missed you. I've been on a little bit of a break while I had my show at Artistry, and I took a lot of video clips, and I'm gonna have a kind of tips and tricks for art festivals. I've done a couple of those videos thus far, so I will kind of have what I've been up to and kind of what led up to it, and then how the show went in a video as well. But to save the suspense, it went amazing. It was one of the best shows that I've had yet. I got to meet so many fans. I'm so appreciative of everyone that stopped by and for all the well wishes. So thank you so much for that. Tonight is going to be an abstract underwater flower garden. It's gonna be in really light blues and aquas and turquoise with a white base. And it's gonna be on a 16 by 40 inch canvas, and I'm gonna be doing 2 of them. You'll see one in the video, but if you stick around till the end, I'll show you both of them. So this one's super fun. It reminds me, and it was inspired by the painting that is behind me on my Facebook page. So if you haven't checked that one out, check that one out. That was a 2 foot by 4 foot piece though. And this one's gonna be a 16 by 40, a little bit shorter. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. Again, I missed you all so much. I'm so glad to be back, and let's paint. Okay, this is a long one. There are actually going to be 2 pieces that go along with this one. So I'm gonna make one because that's all I could fit on my table and in camera. But when you see them dry, if you stick around till the end of the video, I will show you both of the ones that I made. He wanted a really long piece, but we decided to do 2 instead. And it's in a design that I did actually off camera. But it's the background of my Facebook profile for my art page. So check that out if you haven't. And I'm going to start with just white up here. And then what I'm gonna do is actually blow, I'm gonna put it down a little bit further. I'm actually gonna blow the paint, oh, that was a bubble. I'm gonna have white up here, blue, I cannot talk to you at the same time when I'm doing, like, why can't I do 2 things at one time? White up here, and then I'm gonna have different striations of blue down here, and then I'm gonna blow upwards on the corner and just a little bit into the middle. So let me torch this, and then I will blow it out. Now you always want to give these a really good torch, and sometimes come back in and torch like 2 or 3 times, especially if you just mixed your paints and you have a lot of air bubbles in there. So I have had pinholes before because that's why we torch, right? Is to get rid of those air bubbles. And I have come back in and just painted back over it with just regular tube acrylic paint. But there's an issue if you don't have the color that you originally used, or if it's in an area where there's a bunch of colors that are mixed. So I just try to go ahead and have all the colors to get all the pinholes out, get all the air bubbles out. So I blew the white back down a little bit further this way because I am gonna blow upward into it. I think the hardest part for me is because this is smaller. I did this originally on a 2 foot by 4 foot canvas. This is a smaller dimension this way. I'm gonna try not to blow as far up into there. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna start, which also means don't put a ton of paint, Molly. I'm gonna put it right up to the side though here because I want that to be able to go over. And then I'm just gonna go just like this, almost in like a zigzag. And he wanted light blues. I normally have like a couple dark blues for contrast, but he wanted light blues. And then again on the end, I'm gonna come in with a bunch of color. So that can roll off the edge and I can paint that with my finger. I did not paint my sides here, but this blue is pretty pigmented, so I'm hoping that it will blow out pretty well. Okay, for my next color, I think I'm gonna go with the really light blue next. This is sky blue. Again, now I'm going in the areas that I didn't have blue before. What I did for this lighter blue, I took phthalo blue and literally just mixed it with a little bit of white, and it gave me almost a cerulean blue color. If I had kept going with the white, I would have ended up with almost like the sky blue. It's amazing what white can do to your colors. Now I do want a little bit overlapping here because these are gonna blow up more, and I have a lot of paint there, so I think I'm good. Okay, now I'm gonna come in. I don't expect a ton of cells with this either because I'm using pretty similar opaque, you know, opaque versus transparency. I'm using pretty opaque colors and they are all the same brand basically. So there may be a little bit of cells into the white, but I'm not using a metallic, I'm not mixing a bunch of brands together, so there probably won't be a ton of cells. This will probably just be a floral. Okay. Now this turquoise blue, you know, I'm gonna pour it into a smaller container because I really don't want to use a ton of it. I'm just gonna go in those areas because it's very similar to the other colors. Just gonna drizzle. I'm just really hitting the areas that didn't have anything at this point. And then, like I said, a little bit more on the edges there. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of white throughout and then I'm ready to blow this out. And then I have to make an entire another one. But that is okay. I think this will be a really nice statement piece. All right, let me torch. I'm gonna bring my colors back down to the edge a little bit because what I don't want to do is blow this way and then up this way. What I'm really gonna try to do is just blow up that way. I don't know, maybe I should, I wonder if I should just like tilt it like this a little bit and have them run off to run down the sides. Oh, that was perfect. That is how I just covered these sides. Huh. That worked out great, actually. Now I don't have to worry about blowing back this way to cover those sides, and they're not gonna look just painted either. Great idea, Molly. Good job. Okay, now I'm gonna blow these up. I mean, I'm not gonna blow them up. I'm gonna blow them upwards. Oh boy, watch YouTube flag me for... Okay, here we go. I like this. I do. It's different than my one that you'll see on Facebook because that one has a lot of darker colors in it. I really love darker colors for contrast, but just had a little something there. This is very pretty. It almost looks like a flower garden, like growing up. And then so like I said, there's not a ton of cells, but when I torch when I torch Amsterdam paint, it kind of, not that I'm heating it too much, but it kind of bubbles a little bit. So you'll, hopefully when I do the close-up, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, there we go. It's really important, you know, when you're working and trying to figure all this out, to really try to figure out the reactions, different chemical reactions that the paint has. That will really allow you to create pieces exactly the way that you want. You know, you'll never be able to get the exact same piece in fluid art, right? But you can predict certain reactions that happen, which is awesome. So I'm actually really happy with this. This is what I wanted, and I wanted it to look like it's growing up like a little flower garden. And so the other piece is basically gonna be exactly like this one, and then they're gonna go side by side. Now the one thing, it's actually already got some of the flowing that I normally do. I don't like how jagged this is. Okay, I almost said it. I didn't want that to look like horns. Okay. Okay, now I'm done. All right, let me show you. Well, I almost forgot to show you the wet result. Really pretty. Super simple design, but just really nice. All right, I will show you the two of them when they dry. Okay, here it is. It's large. So it reminds me of like an abstract flower garden, and I'll show you the one that's below it too. They don't look exactly the same, but I actually like it with not a ton of cells. And like I said in the video, I knew that that would happen because I was using primarily opaque colors and of the same brand. So I knew I would just get some tiny cells from torching, and that's about it. Ooh, I just stepped on something, and that's about it. Here is the one below it, and it's not exactly the same. I blew up the blue. I keep saying blue. I blew upwards the blue, and I had to mix a little bit more paint, and you can totally see the difference because this one had a little bit of creative inspirations in there, and you can see the difference in the cells that popped up. So almost like an experiment. I just had some leftover paint. I ran out on the second canvas, and I used some that I already had pre-mixed, but you can see the difference. So here is when I mix my creative inspirations in Amsterdam. And if you don't want those, then stick with the same brand. You can see. So here very little cells. Here, ton of cells. But I really like it. I think it looks like a little underwater flower garden. All right, thank you so much for watching. Happy painting. Bye.